Hey friend, do you want to offer meaningful learning solutions that create behavior change, fit in the flow of work, and yield real results for your nonprofit? If yes, this is the podcast for you. Join me as I explore instructional design and leadership development best practices, as well as change management, belonging, and influence. If we haven't met yet, I'm Heather, and I've been in your shoes. I'm a learning and development consultant and founder of Skill Masters Market. Before starting my business, I led learning and leadership development initiatives for a large national nonprofit. I know what it's like to need to develop your staff quickly and effectively and to build the relationships and cut through the organizational layers to be successful. And I'm bringing all of that to you in this podcast. So block your calendar, turn off your Teams or Slack chat, and let's dive in. It's learning for good. Sometimes you just need an outside perspective. One of the things I've been working on at CrossFit is toes to bar. And it's where you hang from the rig and you swing your legs up so that your toes touch the bar where your hands are. And I can do them, but not consistently. I'll do one. I might get close on the next one. I might get close again, and then I'll need a break. And so I jump down and reset. I could continue practicing this way, but it won't help if I'm doing them wrong. I need to be set up to do them correctly and then practice and see progress. What's the easiest way to do that? It's to get an outside perspective. When I have a coach watching me, they can correct me and give me feedback to help me achieve my goals. They can encourage me to keep going or tell me to take a quick break when I'm getting fatigued. It's that outside perspective that will help me be more consistent because they can see things I can't. My position, my form, my swing, my progress even. The same is true in all areas of our lives, including our careers. So today, I'm talking to self-proclaimed nonprofit nerd, Jarrett Ransom, all about how to create a personal board of directors to help you thrive in your career. Let's dive in. It's learning for good. Jarrett Ransom, known as the Nonprofit Nerd, resides in Phoenix, Arizona, and established her consulting firm in 2009, specializing in nonprofit organizations across the country. Under her guidance, teams nationwide consistently raise millions of dollars annually to advance their missions. Jarrett spearheads transformative consulting initiatives, empowering nonprofits to envision and realize their long-term goals. Jarrett hosts and produces the podcast Nonprofit Nerd Impact Unleashed. This podcast is dedicated to having real talk conversations about self-care and wellness with nonprofit leaders nationwide. These conversations provide invaluable insights, tools, and strategies for navigating the intricacies of personal and professional challenges. Additionally, Jarrett has lent her passionate expertise as a host and MC to numerous live events, supporting nonprofits in their vital fundraising efforts. Jarrett, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Heather. I appreciate you inviting me and giving me such an eloquent lead-in and introduction. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you here. I'm excited to have this conversation. I think so much of what I talk about on this podcast, right? It's helping L&D teams do learning and development better or have a new way of doing something or get an insight into what another nonprofit is doing. And so it's very focused on them professionally in their roles. It's functional. And so I'm excited today to talk about something that's going to help us on a more personal, professional level. And that's building a personal board of directors. But before we get there, I think it's really important for everyone to know who you are, where you're coming from, why is this important to you? So tell us a little bit about your career journey.
Oh gosh, we don't have long, so I will certainly truncate this, right? But first of all, I want to go back to your intro because I really do like your analogy with the toes to bar. I was a gymnast growing up for a period of time until I hit 5'7" of height. But I remember doing toes to bar there, and that is a grueling exercise. But kudos to you, Heather. I think that's fantastic. So to jump into my career journey, it's really been Oh my gosh, it's been a roller coaster. It's been a fun one. It's been a scary one. It's been a little bit of uncertainty, but really, I have to give credit to my mom. And she really had us volunteering at young ages, my brother and I, in the small rural town outside of Columbia, South Carolina, that we grew up. I mention that because I really do believe that her getting us involved at such young age and so immersed and enmeshed in our community really set the tone for who I am as a person. And I always say, like, we didn't have lots of money, but we certainly had a lot of time. And she made it a priority that we were at soup kitchens or picking up litter off the street or donating clothes, like just a lot of it. So I really do think that planted the seed for who I am today and how I got to where I am today. My undergrad is mass communications and theater. So that helps me, of course, get on the stage, take the mic, do those kind of opportunities from the stage for nonprofits to raise money. I also went on to get my master's in business administration. And so I thrive in business acumen. I thrive in strategy, right? Like, what is the strategic vision for this organization? And since 2009, I have been working exclusively with nonprofits in my consulting firm. Prior to that, I was in the roles doing the work, right, as an employee with nonprofits. But in 2009 was when I was chief development officer of an organization. I say now, during that economic crisis is really when things changed. So since 2009, coming up on 16 years for my business, working exclusively with nonprofits, really in that strategic vision, fundraising vision. I do some executive coaching and really just love dedicating my time, my career, my energy, and my efforts to strengthening communities around the nation to better support the needs of those communities.
I love that. And I love that you have a theater background. I feel like you're not the first guest that I've had who has a theater background. So maybe we're nonprofits are just drawing those people in. But I love hearing people's career journeys because I think it's so interesting when you look back to see all the twists and the turns and how all of those different experiences play into who you are and what you care about and what your skills and experiences are. But there's also a piece of that I usually don't explore when I ask that question on this podcast, and that is the people behind it. You mentioned your mom as an example, setting you off on this trajectory. Who is it that has supported you throughout your career journey?
Yeah, there's been so many people. And for me as a professional, I have found that I am myself through and through. There's no, it's 9 o'clock. It's time to be the professional, Jarrett, right? Or it's 5:01 p.m. It's time to be the fun, playful Jarrett. So I am who I am 24/7, which is why so much of the personal side of me shows up in the professional side as well, like during those hours. So there's been so many people to support me along my journey. Of course, my mom, my parents have been very influential. But truly, I have to give a shout out to the amazing sector that we're in, our colleagues. I've been so fortunate to have some amazing mentors, both formally and informally. And I've also been privileged, honored, blessed to return that, right? So really looking whether it was a formal mentorship. I've gone through the Association of Fundraising Professionals where I was paired with someone in my community. I've done tons of leadership programs, and through that, there's been a lot of support. So what I've really found is my A team and the people that make up the A team have changed along my career journey. But really, I find that the characteristics, the strengths, the skill sets, the opportunities that they bring, they're constantly there and they're vast. So the people might be changing, but the connections and the conversations and the support, those continue to remain the same. And so for me, I can call out names, but I would be so worried that I would miss someone. So I just do call out the whole sector because I find that so many of us, yourself included, Heather, are so supportive and willing to be there to help in this greater problem that we're all a part of and a part of providing solutions to. So,
yeah, that's a great point. I love that you call them your A team. And I think it's true. Like, as we progress in our career or make changes or reflect on what's working for us and what's not working for us and what our values are and things like that, like the people might change, that team might evolve, but having people in place who you can count on, you can call them and they're going to support you. That's the important piece. So, why should we have a personal board of directors? What's the benefit to having an A team?
Yeah. Well, A Team, first of all, I am of the era where I grew up watching the A Team, like the whole I pity the fool. But really, A for me now stands for authentic. So, like, who are those authentic people that you find yourself drawn to, going to? If you're frustrated, if you're overwhelmed, if you're happy and celebrating, who's on your short list? So, essentially, a personal board of directors refers to a group of people carefully selected by you who provide you guidance, advice, and support on your both professional and your personal life. So I think everyone should have an A team. And in reality, I would venture to say, I believe we all do. We might not have formalized that. We might not have invited this person to officially serve on our personal board. But if you just think about it and you sit and you reflect at your core and you're like, who would be the person that I call when I'm overwhelmed? Who would be the person that I call and say, I just secured the largest gift in my career, right? If you think about these opportunities or good or bad, who are those people? And so I would think that we all have them already. We might not have formalized it to say, oh, wow, you make up my personal board of directors. And so I share this analogy because us nonprofit nerds, we are so familiar with boards. That is the makeup, the governance makeup of nonprofits. So when I take the stage or do coaching or working with my clients, I also talk to them on this very personal level. The organization has a board of directors, but who is yours? Who is your personal board of directors? And if you were at the table and you had 6 open seats, who would you put there?
That's a great way to think about it. Yeah. If you had a table with 6 open seats, who would you put there? I really like that. Like you've got me thinking. Even now, I don't have a personal board of directors, but I do have people that I go to. So I like that way of thinking about it. So let's break it down a little bit more. Maybe people are starting to think about who they would fill those seats with. You've got your board of directors. What do they do? How do you engage them? What does that relationship look like?
Yeah. Well, the good news is you don't have to file a 990, right? Like it's way more informal than the boards we're used to. But I always say some key points about personal board of directors is we're looking for a makeup, a diversification that supports you. So diverse perspective, right? So really include people from different backgrounds and experiences. You want someone or someone's plural to provide honest feedback. They should be comfortable, right, to share constructive criticism, strategic guidance, someone that can help with major life decisions, career transitions, or even goal setting, maybe a mentorship aspect. So if there's someone, not strictly a mentor, but a personal board can function like a network of mentors, that's what this group is. And of course, confidentiality. So it's important to maintain trust by ensuring privacy around these personal discussions. I've been burned before by sharing openly, vulnerably. And so I call that out in particular, Heather. So our listeners will say, oh my gosh, there's no way I can do this. But truly, you're identifying people that I'm going to say you already know, like, and trust. Maybe they are a colleague in your community. Maybe you partner with them. And who knows, there's so many different ways for partnerships, but maybe just really find, who they are to be attractive, to be inspiring, to be authentic in their own way, if that's one of your leadership qualities, and really just starting to find out, like, who are these people? They don't all have to be on your family, right? They don't have to be part of the family tree. They don't have to be your neighbors. They don't have to live in the same state. And they don't have to know each other. The common thread is you. This is your personal board of directors, and you want to have the makeup that supports you.
Do you wish you could connect with other nonprofit learning and development leaders?
I know what it feels like to want someone to bounce ideas off of and to learn from, someone who really understands you and your work. Imagine if you could have a simple way to meet people in the field, ask questions, and share information. That's why I created the nonprofit Learning and Development Collective, where nonprofit L&D, talent management, and DEI leaders can connect with each other quickly and easily in a virtual space. When you join this community, you will walk away with a new, diverse, and powerful network and a sounding board for your staff development needs. So if you're ready to exchange ideas and collaborate with your peers, come join the nonprofit L&D Collective. And do you tell them that they're on your personal board of directors? Do they meet each other? What does this look like?
Yeah, I always love when I get that question. So I never preemptively answer that question because I like for it to come out naturally. So this is how I answer that question anytime it's given to me. So do they know they're on my personal board of directors? I say yes. The way that I do this is I will 100%, I'll use you as an example. Heather, I really value our friendship. I value your strategic thinking. I value your ability to give me honest feedback. And I am in a place in my life, both personally and professionally, where I am looking for a community to lean on. I call them my personal board of directors, and jokingly, right? There's no requirement for attendance, but this is what I'm looking for. Would you be willing to be one of the go-to people that I call upon when I feel I need that help and support? And equally, if I can be that for you, or if you're looking for this, like I would love to reciprocate that. But yeah, would you be willing to be that person? So they don't get a business card. They don't get a name tag. They don't get to update their LinkedIn profile. They could. Maybe that could be the next step. But really looking at it to say like, hey, Heather, I see you. I'm calling you out. I see the value that you bring to me in my life. Would you be willing to serve in this capacity? Not knowing exactly what that entails, right? Like we're not scheduling weekly check-ins or monthly check-ins. It's very casual. It's very informal. It's just like, hey, can I put you on my go-to list? Because I find such immense value in what you have to offer me.
So it's more as needed, like your emergency call list, but hopefully you're calling them before the emergency.
Yeah, hopefully before.
Yeah. An emergency too is fine, but hopefully they've been engaged before that as well.
That's a great example and the great call out. The other thing I say, for instance, one of my challenges, I am a yes person. I say yes to a lot and I overcommit. Overcommit looks like anxiety, stress, and overwhelm when it really starts to get to that level for me. So for instance, someone on my board, I don't even have to call them, but just on the peripheral, they could say to me, hey, Jarrett, your social media looks a little bananas. Your schedule looks a little bananas. You remember how you wanted to simplify your calendar, your life, your commitments? As your friend, as your personal board of directors, I just want to hold you accountable for this. I see that this might be where you're going, and I just want to do a quick check-in for you. Honestly, Heather, my virtual assistant does that for me, right? So she will say, Jarrett, your calendar looks a little hairy. Are you sure you want to take on all of these discovery calls? Are you sure you want to take on this new client? Because based off the proposal we just drew up, it looks quite time consuming, right? So really having these people in your life to say, wait, you said this, you're doing something different. This is no longer in alignment. Have you changed where you're going? So just, I share that as an example. And I think your second question, I went off a little on a tangent, so sorry about that, is do they meet one another? Do they know one another? And no, not necessarily. Sure, if you want to take them all on a Hawaii retreat, and that might be fun. But no, not necessarily. It's really just a one-on-one. So you connect with them at your time and at your discrepancy.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It is formally informal, informally formal. I'm not sure what the correct combination of those words is, but they know that they're a part of your A team. They know that you value their input and that you'll be receptive to that input because of it. So they know who they are. They know they're part of that personal board of directors, and then they're able to observe or respond, provide feedback, all of those things as a result of that. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And to elaborate, some of the additional benefits is really looking at this from a perspective where maybe it helps to improve your decision making. Maybe it accelerates your career if that's what you're looking to do. Maybe it helps to increase your self-awareness or even enhance your personal confidence. So I think having those maybe expectations or what you intend to gain from their network of support, there's tons of benefit in that. And if you think for you as a nonprofit leader, you think of the benefits your governing board brings to the organization and the benefits they bring to driving your mission forward, it's very similar, right? For your personal board of directors. Yeah, it gets super juicy. And I could talk about this for hours, but I know we're just basically skimming the surface on it.
We're getting people thinking and hopefully giving them something actionable that they can do if they don't already have a personal board of directors. So on that note, if someone isn't sure where to start, and they're wondering who's going to sit in those empty chairs at their table, where do you recommend they start?
Yeah. So I do say, like, I'm a very visual person. So I know our listeners can't see me, but throughout this conversation, I close my eyes because I'm literally seeing, right? I'm seeing what is presented before me. So I would say, picture your table and picture there's 6 open chairs. Who would be those people that you would want to put there, right? So again, a diverse perspective. Who in your go-to list? And that's where I say I would start making a list of people that you naturally go to. They could be personal friends, they could be professional connections or acquaintances. Again, like there's no right or wrong here, but you're really looking for diversification on your board. So yeah, I say start with 6 and just start making a list. Make a go-to list. Who are the people that come top of mind? Don't overthink it. Don't ever analyze it. Just if you had to say, who are the people I go to for personal, for professional situations, good, bad, and ugly? Who are they? Right. And then just start thinking about what talents, what skill sets, what positive traits do they bring to you in your life? That's where I would start.
Yeah, I love that. Even as you were thinking, I'm like, okay, my husband, my sister-in-law, who's also my virtual assistant, she has a lot of eyes into my life. I have a former colleague that I go to very easily and quickly. I have another mom friend whose daughter is in my oldest daughter's class, right, that I am consistently going to. So I can definitely start to put people together very quickly when we start to think about it like that.
Yeah, I love hearing that. And I think for most of our listeners, they will find the same. I've also noticed, and just a quick call out for me in my career journey, about every 3 to 5 years, I have noticed, this is an observation for me only, that my really close professional colleague group seems to change or evolve, right? Around that 3 to 5 year mark. So I call that out because maybe, someone that used to be on your go-to list is no longer on your go-to list, and that's okay. The other thing is we don't necessarily, I like the saying, it's the plaque and whack. I don't know if you've heard that, Heather, but it's like, what do we do with a board member that we don't want on our board anymore? And it's like, oh, it's simple. You just kind of plaque and whack them, or really you just bless and release is essentially what we're asking. The good news is you don't have to do any kind of formal resignation for any of your personal board members that you're no longer in alignment with, or you don't feel that they're in alignment with you and your best goals. So if you see this trajectory for you as well, 3 to 5 years or whatever that timeline is, just know that your core group of people and your core group of professional people may also evolve, like I have shared from my own observations.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And we're not going to be receptive to feedback from everyone either. So I think just knowing who you feel like you can invite in and be receptive to is also going to be really important.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So they don't have a personal board of directors and we're going to picture that table. We're going to think about who to put in those 6 empty chairs. We're going to make a list of people that we naturally go to and then review it based on some of those characteristics that you mentioned, like bringing diverse perspectives into that to make sure that the final list that we end up with, the final invites, right, are people that we really want on our personal board of directors.
Absolutely.
I love it. Jarrett, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful conversation. Thanks for letting me have this with you. It's been fun.
Okay, what a fun episode. I'm already thinking about who to put on my personal board of directors, and I hope you are too. It makes such a difference to get that outside perspective, someone who can affirm us or challenge us or celebrate us or even grieve with us when things are hard. Having a personal board of directors is a great way to accelerate your career and really just improve overall awareness and confidence. And I want that for you. I'll see you next time on Learning for Good. Hey friend, was this episode helpful for you? Did you like what you heard? Do you want more content like this? Here are 3 things you can do. Hit subscribe. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts or your podcast app of choice. Share this episode with a colleague. This means so much to me personally. I read every review, but it also helps me learn what content you like most so I can create more of what you want. All right, turn that Teams or Slack chat back on when you're ready, and I'll see you next time on Learning for Good.